Which formula can Rocco use to determine the number of miles he can expect to drive using a certain number of gallons of gas? If you look at the answer choices, it tells you that we're solving for m, so you don't have to think too hard. We can multiply both sides by g, and this gives us gy is equal to m. So the answer is D. Didn't even read the paragraph, but don't need to. They will know the value of t in the equation that models this situation. So I can solve this for t and find the answer. I'll probably distribute the 3 first, so I have 7t plus 39/15 minus 3t is equal to 4. So 4t plus 39/15 is equal to, and I'll convert this to 15ths as well. That way I can just directly subtract. So I have 4t is equal to 21/15. If I want to divide this by 4, that's the same thing as multiplying by 1/4, which is a little bit easier to see when you're multiplying fractions. So then I have t is equal to 21/60. You can divide the top and the bottom by 3, and you end up with 7/20, which is the answer. At the bottom they ask, which of the following gives the speed of the object in terms of the other quantities? I could try to read the paragraph to figure out what variable is the speed of the object, but if I look at the answer choices, I'm solving for v. So this is my equation. I have to move everything to get v all by itself. First step, divide by s on both sides. Next step is to square both sides. Then I'm going to subtract 1 from both sides. Then I'm going to divide by a -1. That's an easy step to forget, but that -1 is in front of everything else there. What that does on the left is it flips the signs. So this is my new equation. Now I'm going to multiply both sides by c squared. And then I have to take the square root of everything to get to v. So the square root of c squared times the quantity 1 minus l squared over s squared, which is a. What is h in terms of the other variables? First I'm going to move the p0 to the left, so I have p minus p0 is equal to pgh. I'm going to divide by pg. So h is equal to this, b. So they rewrote the equation where you solve for t. So that's the first step, is to solve for t. We're going to add 8d to both sides, then we're going to divide everything by 4. So t is now equal to 3h plus 2d, but pay close attention because I had it as h and then d, they have it as d and then h, so our a value is the coefficient in front of d. So our answer here is 2. Riser height in terms of the other variables. Riser height appears to be h. So let's solve the original equation for h. First thing we'll do is subtract d from both sides. 2h is equal to 25 minus d. Then we'll divide everything by 2. So h is equal to this. What you probably notice is that isn't there exactly as written. But the same thing is dividing by 2 is multiplying by 1/2. So we can think of it like this. And now we see our answer. What is w in terms of the other variables for this formula here? So I'm taking a is equal to 4 plus w over 30, and I'm solving it for w. First thing I'll do is I'll multiply both sides by 30, and I'll subtract 4. The answer is A. What is 2x in terms of a? So I'm solving this for 2x. So I have to get 2x all by itself. First I'll divide by 2. So I have the square root of 2x is equal to a over 2. And I'm going to square both sides. So that leaves me with 2x is equal to a squared over 2 squared, or a squared over 4. If these two formulas give the same estimate for a, or in other words they're equal to each other, then which of the following expressions is equal to this? So the first thing I did is if a's are equal, these are equal. Now I'm going to solve it for the square root of hw. So all I have to do is multiply both sides by 60, and this goes away. So 60 over 30 is just 2. So the square root of HW is equal to 2 times the quantity 4 plus W. We're looking for the square of the distance from the radio antenna in terms of intensity and the other variables. So square of the distance from the radio antenna. Or in other words, we're solving for r squared. So I'm going to take this equation, I'm going to multiply both sides by 4 pi r squared. What happens is I get 4 pi r squared I on the left and p on the right. I'm going to divide by everything that I don't want there, 4 pi I, on both sides. Goes away, goes away, goes away. I have r squared is equal to this. So the answer is B. Which of the following expresses the relative humidity in terms of the other variables? So we're solving for H. H is right here, and there's a lot of stuff over there. First thing we can do is subtract T from both sides. So D minus T is equal to negative 9/25 times 100 minus H. Now I could distribute here, but I'm looking at the answer choices, and they just multiplied by the reciprocal. So if you multiply by negative 25 over 9, that cancels out with this negative 9 over 25ths. So I'm going to multiply by that on both sides. And this is what I'm left with. So I'll take negative 25 ninths times D minus T minus 100 is equal to negative H. I just move the 100 to the other side, and now I'm going to divide everything by negative 1. And since this is all one product, I only apply the negative to the outside number. I don't mess with anything inside. And there's my answer. So we're solving for f in terms of the other variables. And they say that 180 is equal to P plus F plus C. But there happens to be a ratio, and we're looking for food calories in particular, so we're looking at this one. So 4P plus 9F plus 4C is equal to 180. And we want to solve for F. So I'm going to subtract 4P and 4C from the left. So I have 9F is equal to 180 minus 4P minus 4C. And then I'll just divide everything by 9. So F is equal to 20 minus, and then I could take 4 ninths, P plus C. Since we are just factoring out this negative 4 ninths from both. Average speed of the car in terms of the other variables. So if we're looking at S is equal to 16t times square root of t, they want to know inches per second. If S is inches and t is seconds, we're looking for S over t is equal to something. So we have to solve this for S over t. If I divide both sides by t, I get S over t is equal to, and this goes away, 16 times the square root of t. B. Hardest part was figuring out what you're looking for.